For decades, cities were the magnets of opportunity. They drew dreamers and doers, the ambitious and the hopeful. But a shift is occurring. A new narrative is unfolding. People are leaving cities. This urban exodus is a global phenomenon, reshaping demographics and economies. It's a complex tapestry woven from political threads, economic realities, and personal yearnings for a different pace of life. The reasons for this migration are multifaceted. They are deeply personal, they are undeniably political, and they are fundamentally about the bottom line. This essay will explore the forces driving people away from urban centers and the profound implications for the future of cities. From the soaring skyscrapers of New York to the vibrant streets of London, a palpable sense of uncertainty hangs in the air. The urban promise, a melting pot of cultures, a hub of innovation, a gateway to success, feels increasingly out of reach for many. As rents skyrocket, commutes lengthen, and political divides deepen, the allure of city life is fading for a growing segment of the population. This is not merely a story of numbers and statistics. It's about the hopes and dreams of individuals and families seeking a better life, a place where they feel a sense of belonging and opportunity. It's about the very soul of our cities and the delicate balance between progress and livability. One of the most significant drivers of the urban exodus is the growing political divide. Cities have long been seen as bastions of liberalism, attracting those with progressive values. However, this concentration of like-mindedness can lead to a sense of alienation among those who hold different views. Conservative voices often feel drowned out in the urban echo chamber, their concerns dismissed or ignored. The result is a growing sense of frustration and disenfranchisement, pushing some to seek out communities that align more closely with their values. This self-sorting along political lines is not a new phenomenon, but it has been exacerbated in recent years by social media, which creates echo chambers and amplifies polarization. The political climate in many cities can feel increasingly hostile, particularly for those who identify as conservative or libertarian. From stringent regulations to high taxes, the perception is that city governments are more interested in catering to special interest groups than in representing the needs of all residents. This sense of political alienation is driving some residents to relocate to smaller towns and suburbs, where they feel their voices will be heard and their values shared. This migration is not simply about finding cheaper housing or better schools. It's about finding a sense of community and belonging. While political polarization is a significant factor in the urban exodus, it's impossible to ignore the elephant in the room, the soaring cost of living in many major cities. For many, especially young people and families just starting out, the dream of city life has become simply unaffordable. The cost of housing is often cited as the #1 reason people are leaving cities. In some of the most desirable urban centers, the median home price is now out of reach for all but the highest earners. Even renting an apartment can consume a significant portion of one's income, leaving little left over for other essentials, let alone discretionary spending. This economic pressure is not limited to housing. Everything from groceries to transportation to childcare is more expensive in cities, making it increasingly difficult to make ends meet. The result is a growing sense of financial insecurity, even among those with good jobs and stable incomes. For many, the decision to leave the city is a matter of simple economics. They can no longer afford the high cost of living, and they are seeking out more affordable options in suburban or rural areas. While the urban exodus affects people of all ages and backgrounds, it's particularly pronounced among millennials and Gen Z. These generations, who were once drawn to cities in droves, are now leading the charge out, seeking a different pace of life and more affordable living. For millennials who came of age during the Great Recession and faced a challenging job market, the promise of city life, high-paying jobs, vibrant culture, and endless opportunities often failed to materialize. Saddled with student loan debt and facing a competitive job market, many millennials found themselves stuck in a cycle of renting, unable to afford to buy a home or start a family in the city. Gen Z, the first generation to grow up with smartphones and social media, is even more disillusioned with city life. They value experiences over possessions, and they are seeking out authenticity and connection, which they often find lacking in the anonymity of the city. This younger generation is also more likely to embrace remote work and flexible lifestyles, which gives them the freedom to live where they choose rather than being tied to a specific location for work. This is further fueling the exodus from expensive urban centers to more affordable and desirable locations. The urban exodus is not just a collection of statistics and trends, it's a deeply personal story playing out in the lives of millions of people. Behind every moving van pulling out of the city is a family or individual making a difficult choice, weighing the pros and cons of staying versus leaving. There's Sarah, a single mother who works as a teacher in Chicago. She loves her job and the vibrancy of the city, but after years of struggling to make ends meet, she's decided to move back to her hometown in Michigan. She's found a similar teaching position there, and while the salary is slightly lower, the cost of living is significantly less, allowing her to finally afford a home with a yard for her son. Then there's David, a young entrepreneur who moved to San Francisco a decade ago to pursue his tech dreams. He found success in the Bay Area, but the city he once loved now feels out of reach. The traffic, the crowds, and the exorbitant cost of living have taken their toll. He's decided to relocate his startup to Austin, Texas, where he believes he can find a better quality of life for himself and his employees. These are just two examples of the countless stories that illustrate the complex reasons people are leaving cities. It's a story of trade-offs, of sacrifices, and of the enduring human desire for a place to call home, a place where they can thrive, both personally and financially. The urban exodus is creating winners and losers in the great urban game. Some cities are experiencing a mass exodus of residents, while others are attracting new arrivals at a record pace. This shift in population is reshaping the economic and political landscape of the country. Cities like New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, once considered unstoppable magnets of opportunity, are now seeing their populations dwindle as residents flee the high cost of living, crime, and political polarization. These cities are grappling with declining tax revenues, struggling businesses, and a growing sense of unease about the future. On the other hand, smaller cities and suburban areas are experiencing a surge in popularity. Places like Austin, Nashville, and Boise are attracting new residents with their lower cost of living, strong job markets, and more relaxed pace of life. These cities are benefiting from the urban exodus as they attract talented workers and entrepreneurs who are seeking a better quality of life. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated this trend as remote work became the norm for many professionals. This newfound flexibility allowed people to reconsider where they wanted to live, and many chose to leave expensive urban centers for more affordable and spacious locations. While some cities struggle to retain residents, others are experiencing a population boom. What are these thriving cities doing differently? What factors are attracting new residents and convincing them to put down roots? One key factor is affordability. Cities that offer a lower cost of living, particularly when it comes to housing, are attracting residents priced out of more expensive markets. This is especially true for young professionals and families just starting out who are looking for a place where they can stretch their budgets further. Another important factor is job growth. Cities with strong and diverse economies, particularly in industries like technology, healthcare, and renewable energy, are attracting skilled workers and entrepreneurs. These cities offer not just jobs, but also opportunities for career advancement and innovation. Quality of life also plays a crucial role in attracting new residents. Cities with good schools, safe neighborhoods, access to parks and green spaces, and vibrant cultural scenes are highly desirable. People want to live in places where they can enjoy a high quality of life, both inside and outside of work. Finally, a welcoming and inclusive community is essential for attracting and retaining residents. Cities that embrace diversity, promote tolerance, and provide opportunities for all residents to succeed are more likely to thrive in the long run. The urban exodus presents both challenges and opportunities for cities. Those that fail to adapt to the changing needs and desires of residents risk further decline, while those that embrace innovation and change have the potential to thrive in this new era. Cities need to find ways to address the affordability crisis, perhaps through innovative housing policies, mixed income development, and investments in public transportation. They need to create more equitable and inclusive communities where everyone feels a sense of belonging and opportunity. And they need to adapt to the changing nature of work, providing flexible and remote work options and investing in the infrastructure needed to support a more distributed workforce. This is a time for bold thinking and creative solutions. Cities must become more agile and responsive to the needs of their residents, embracing new technologies and innovative approaches to urban planning and development. The urban exodus is a wake-up call, a reminder that cities cannot take their residents for granted. They must constantly evolve and adapt to remain attractive and competitive in a rapidly changing world. Ultimately, the urban exodus is not necessarily a bad thing. It could lead to a more balanced distribution of population and resources, revitalizing rural communities and easing the pressure on overcrowded cities. It could also spur innovation in both urban and rural areas as communities compete to attract residents and businesses. The future of living may not be about choosing between urban or rural, but rather about creating a hybrid model that combines the best of both worlds. Imagine a future where people can enjoy the amenities and opportunities of city life while also having access to the affordability, space, and tranquility of rural living. This hybrid model could involve remote work hubs in smaller towns, high-speed rail connecting urban and rural areas, and investments in infrastructure and amenities that enhance the quality of life in both settings. It would require a shift in mindset from viewing urban and rural as separate and distinct to seeing them as interconnected and interdependent. The urban exodus is an opportunity to rethink how we live, work, and connect. It's a chance to create a more sustainable, equitable, and fulfilling future for all.